T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff.
Live from somewhere deep in the Freedom State of Florida, it's the Let's Be Frank Show with your host, Frank.
The report goes into great detail about the information that Russia and Putin had on Hillary Clinton, which included possible criminal acts like secret meetings with multiple named U.S. religious organizations in which State Department officials offered, in exchange for supporting Secretary Clinton's campaign for the presidency, significant increases in financing from the State Department. They also had documents that showed the patronage of the State Department to State Department employees who would go and support Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. Then CIA Director Brennan and the intelligence community mischaracterized intelligence and relied on dubious substandard sources to create a contrived false narrative that Putin developed a quote-unquote clear preference for Trump.
Welcome back to another edition of our Freedom Stream. I'm glad you guys are here joining us tonight for this. I know probably Salty's still going, but that's okay. When he ends, we'll still be on the air. It's great to see all of you guys here this evening. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being part of today's Freedom Stream as we continue down this whole thing with Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Clinton, James Clapper, John Brennan, and the rest of the Shady Bunch. Now that Tulsi has absolutely gone scorched earth against all of these individuals, I'm actually kind of worried for Tulsi Gabbard as she has started to name drop and she naming President Trump in this criminal referral for treason. That's right, fellas and ladies. That's what we got going on. So welcome back to another edition of our Freedom Stream. We'll be doing this all week long. We'll have another Freedom Stream tomorrow night at 10 p.m. as well, and long on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'm glad that you guys are joining me here tonight, being part of this. I'm glad that we can go ahead and get to some of these stories because, again, Tulsi Gabbard really putting everything out on the line, putting everything out there. She has really impressed me thus far in her actions and her fortitude and not being fearful of the repercussions that could come from exposing Hillary Clinton and Barack Hussein Obama. There are so many people that have gone the way of the RIP because they've crossed those two individuals. And I do not want to see the same fate for Tulsi Gabbard. And she continues to do this. She continues to go up there with press conference after press conference and just laying it out there for people like, oh my gosh, this is what she's doing. And so we're going to take a look at that press conference in just a second here. Let me just remind you, all of you guys, if you're new here, thanks for joining me tonight. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. If you're over on Rumble watching, thank you for watching over on Rumble. Don't forget to hit that like the thumbs up button and subscribe, I guess, over there as well. So I appreciate you guys over here on YouTube. I'm trying to reach 50 members, 50 memberships. So we're at 14 right now. I like to try to hit that before the end of August. So if you guys could help me do that, that's fantastic. If not, just liking and sharing the content helps out tremendously. So thank you so much for that. Let's go ahead and pull this up real quick. Tulsi Gabbard and her press conference where she absolutely just lays out and reveals the entire Spygate for the world to see. This is amazing. This is what I voted for. I voted for accountability for this. I voted for accountability for the stolen election. I voted for accountability for COVID. I voted for accountability for Epstein. I voted for all this accountability. I'm glad we are seeing it in some of the areas, and this is one of them. So let's kind of take a listen to Tulsi as she goes ahead and lays it all out. Let's take a listen.
I'm going to go over the key findings from the House Intelligence Report, which investigated the claims that were made by an intelligence community assessment ordered by President Obama and published in January of 2017. First, Putin's principal interests relating to the 2016 election were to undermine faith in the U.S. democratic process, not show any preference of a certain candidate. In fact, this report shows Putin held back from leaking compromising material on Hillary Clinton prior to the election, instead planning to release it after the election to weaken what Moscow viewed as an inevitable Clinton presidency. In the January 2017 intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered, John Brennan, who was CIA director at the time, and the intelligence community intentionally suppressed intelligence that showed Putin was saving the most damaging material that he had in his possession about Hillary Clinton until after her potential and likely victory. The report goes into great detail about the information that Russia and Putin had on Hillary Clinton, which included possible criminal acts like secret meetings with multiple named U.S. religious organizations in which State Department officials offered, in exchange for supporting Secretary Clinton's campaign for the presidency, significant increases in financing from the State Department. They also had documents that showed the patronage of the State Department to State Department employees who would go and support Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. Then CIA Director Brennan and the intelligence community mischaracterized intelligence and relied on dubious substandard sources to create a contrived false narrative that Putin developed a quote-unquote clear preference for Trump. Brennan and the IC misled lawmakers by referencing the debunked Steele dossier to assess quote-unquote Russia's plans and intentions, falsely suggesting that this dossier had intelligence value when he knew that it was discredited. The intelligence community excluded significant intelligence and ignored or selectively quoted reliable intelligence that contradicted the intelligence community assessment's key findings on Putin's alleged support for Trump. Including this intelligence reporting would have exposed the ICA's claim as implausible, if not ridiculous. The intelligence community assessment omitted reliably sourced information, such as how some Russian intelligence officials were quote unquote planning for candidate Hillary Clinton's victory, while others assessed neither Trump nor Clinton would respect Russia's interests. As was reflected in the ODNI documents that we released on Friday, multiple intelligence community assessments released in the months leading up to the November 2016 election concluded that Russia had neither the intent nor capability to impact the outcome of the US election. On December 5th of 2016, the FBI and ODNI gave the House Intelligence Committee its first post-election classified briefing, in which there was no mention of Putin aspiring to elect Trump by either agency. The Presidential Daily Brief, drafted on December 8th of 2016, stated that no Russian or criminal actors impacted vote counts. This document was pulled just hours before it was to be published due to quote unquote new guidance. If it had been published, it would have been briefed to both President Obama and President-elect Donald Trump. On December 9th, 2016, a National Security Council meeting was called to gather President Obama's senior national security officials, which included CIA Director Brennan, then Obama DNI James Clapper, Susan Rice, and others. Following that secret meeting, DNI Clapper's assistant sent an email to the intelligence community with the subject line, POTUS tasking on Russia election meddling. tasking ODNI leaders to create a new assessment per the president's request. The House Intelligence Committee Oversight Report that we released today reveals that, quote, unlike routine intelligence community analysis, the intelligence community assessment was a high-profile product ordered by the president, President Obama. It directed senior intelligence community agency heads and created an intelligence community assessment limited to just 5 analysts using one principal drafter. This is not something that occurs in the normal path of producing an intelligence community assessment that reflects the views across the intelligence community. The production of this intelligence community assessment was subject to unusual directives directly from the president and senior political appointees, especially the former director of the CIA, John Brennan. The House Intelligence Committee Oversight Report also shows how later that same day, on December 9th, Brennan ordered the publication of quote unquote substandard reporting on Russian activities, which had previously been withheld from publication of prior assessments because the information was judged, quote, to have not met long-standing publication standards. Some of the information later used in the Obama-ordered assessment over the objections of veteran CIA officers was, quote unquote, unclear or from unknown sources. The Intelligence Committee's Oversight Report reveals that CIA Director Brennan overruled senior CIA officers who challenged the Obama-ordered intelligence assessment, stating, quote, we don't have direct information that Putin wanted to get Trump elected. Yet, the Obama-directed assessment was published on January 6, 2017, which explicitly stated, quote, we assess Putin and the Russian government aspired to help President-elect Trump's election chances when possible by discrediting Secretary Clinton and publicly contrasting her unfavorably to him, end of quote. The CIA and FBI, then led by John Brennan and James Comey, expressed high confidence in this judgment, while the NSA expressed moderate confidence. Yet, as the report we released today shows, the ICA, the Intelligence Community Assessment, did not cite any report where Putin indicated helping Trump win was an objective. The opposite is true. With regards to the Steele dossier, we now know that one of the source documents that the Obama administration used in the creation of this intelligence assessment in January of 2017 was none other than the discredited, unverified Steele dossier. The House Intel report states, quote, contradicting public claims by then CIA Director Brennan that the dossier was not in any way incorporated into this intelligence assessment. The dossier was referenced in the intelligence assessment's main body text and further detailed in a 2-page assessment annex. John Brennan lied, and he denied using this dossier in this intelligence assessment that President Obama ordered because he knew it was discredited. It was a politically motivated, manufactured document. He directed senior CIA officials to use it anyway. CIA officer told the House Intelligence Committee staff as they investigated this, quote, the director of the CIA, John Brennan, refused to remove it. And when confronted with the dossier's many flaws, responded, quote, yes, but doesn't it ring true? Even the bipartisan Senate Select Committee on Intelligence report published in 2020 criticized the FBI's handling of the Steele dossier, noting its completely unverified nature and purposeful sidestepping of intelligence community procedures in its use. Now, President Obama, Hillary Clinton, John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey, and others, including their mouthpieces in the media, knowingly lied as they repeated the contrived narrative that was created in this January 2017 intelligence community assessment with high confidence as though it were fact. John Brennan, as CIA director, stated in a memo to his agency staff in December of 2016, saying, quote, there is strong consensus among us on the scope, nature, and intent of Russian interference in our presidential election. This was reported by NBC News, confirming that Brennan, along with James Clapper and James Comey, agreed with the CIA's assessment that Russia intervened to help Trump win the presidency. As Obama's director of national intelligence, James Clapper was tasked with overseeing the creation of this assessment in January of 2017 by President Obama, and he expressed confidence in its findings. In a 2018 interview with the Harvard Gazette, he talked about how he provided Trump with the same classified assessment that President Obama received, which included the high confidence judgment that Putin directly ordered the hacking and election interference. Clapper then went on to add, "I think they, the Russians, actually influenced the outcome." This is a brief summary of the details that you'll find within the House Majority Staff's report in their investigation into the Obama-directed January 2017 Intelligence Community Assessment that leads us to the very same conclusion that we announced in the release of our documents on Friday. The implications of this are far-reaching and have to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. It has to do with an outgoing president taking action to manufacture intelligence, to undermine and usurp the will of the American people in that election, and launch what would be a years-long coup against the incoming president of the United States, Donald Trump.
Yeah, Tulsi absolutely is hitting that hornet's nest right now. And with that, of course, is going to come great pushback. And they're already crafting a narrative. They already have talking points out there on the mainstream media. They are getting their lawyers and everything that they can in order, because people like John Brennan, who has lawyered up already, is preparing to possibly be arrested. These people need to go to prison. The accountability is too great for this to be let go. I mentioned last night's Freedom Stream that this is Trump's moment. He needs to seize it. He needs to seize that moment, because this is the only chance we have. This is the only chance we have in order to bring justice to the American people by going after these crooked individuals who plotted, colluded, and undermined the incoming president of the United States, who was duly elected by the American people. And I understand he won that election, and of course he went in, but it was nonstop interference from the time he got into the Oval Office until he came back. It was nothing but that. The 2020 rigged election is a byproduct of what took place in 2016. It's all connected, just like the connections between Epstein and the people who are on these lists currently right now. So that's what we have here. It's a big thing. It's a big deal. And with Tulsi Gabbard, what she's currently doing, she's smashing that beehive. She's hitting that beehive. And they do not like it. They don't like being called out like this. They don't like being put into the light. They prefer to stay in the darkness, where they can lurk in the shadows and continue to try to pull the strings of the government from behind the curtain. These people are not good people. They're not good people whatsoever. I don't think there's a shred of goodness in any of them. They're reptilian in the way they behave. All they care about is their power and their money. And that's all they care about. Influence, money, and power. And they'll sit there and worship Satan himself if that means getting those things. These people are absolutely sick individuals. Every single one of them. And with Tulsi going to the mat with these people, going to the mat and saying, yo, this is not right. And I'm releasing all of this information of what's taking place that you guys need to see. The American people has a right to know what the last administration did to the incoming administration. And they have a right to know. They have a right to know that. They have a right to know that this is not acceptable. And they're not going to take it any longer. And that's what needs to take place. It's terrible that we've gotten to this point, right? We've gotten to this point where they are doing everything they can in order to sabotage all of this. I hate my I have my bookmarks here and they're acting up at the moment. I'm trying to get my bookmarks in order here. That way we have this. So this is this is James Clapper, who has already lawyered up. He lawyered up already because he knows what's coming down. Here he is, James Clapper, on with CNN, Let's take a listen to his assessment of what's taking place.
When the director says that she's referred these filings to the Justice Department for criminal investigation, tonight we're told they formed what is called a strike force. Do you have concerns that they will attempt to prosecute you?
Well, certainly I do. After 8.5 years of this, and I don't know of an intelligence product that was more scrutinized, more investigated than that product was by numerous people. It's very disconcerting. It really is. And I take seriously when the President of the United States accuses me of being a participant in a treasonous conspiracy, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, what's your reaction to that?
It's ridiculous. It is untrue.
So what will you do if they come after you? What is your plan?
Well, I'll lawyer up, I suppose. Already have.
You've already hired attorneys in anticipation that this Trump Justice Department could try to prosecute you.
We've had sort of perpetual attorneys since I left the government in 2017.
He knows it's coming. He knows he is going to be charged. And he should be charged. He should be charged. He should be, again, raided and marched in front of CNN in his underwear. I don't even care. These people are evil individuals. People like James Clapper. He knows what he did. He knows he took part in this coup. He knows he was part of it with John Brennan and, of course, Obama, Valerie Jarrett. All of these players, all of them colluded with one another in order to sabotage President Trump. Their ultimate goal was to get him thrown out of office, and then after that, to arrest him. Don't let these people fool you. The plan was always to arrest President Trump. Always. That was the plan. That's what they set out to do. And when they were unable to prosecute him in their kangaroo courts, they sought to take him out by other means. And we saw that take place 1 year ago in Butler, Pennsylvania. These people are not good people. People like James Clapper are not good people. They belong in prison. They belong in there, and they belong to be buried underneath the prison where they need to go. James Clapper and the rest of the shady bunch of these individuals are just a disgusting reminder of how bad it was. And look at this. I just want to show you. Somebody brought this video up to my attention a second ago when they threw Hillary Clinton into the van. You guys remember this? Hillary Clinton losing her shoe in the gutter. There's Hillary. By the way, if you don't notice, she is being propped up by this beam here, by this concrete cylinder. Here, you gotta grab her. They gotta grab her. Oh. There she goes. Right into, like a sack of potatoes, man. Like a sack of potatoes. Like a sack of potatoes. Right here. Look at this. Pushed her right in. Scooting her right in. If we back the tape up just a little bit here, just a little bit, you can see them dragging her cankles. Her cankles right here, dragging them in, leaving the shoes behind. Right there. We dodged a bullet, friends. We dodged a bullet with that one. Hillary Clinton being tossed into the black van during 9/11 memorial. Do you guys remember that? And then they tried to play it off, say that she was dehydrated. No, dude, she was on all kinds of medications. She was on tranquilizers. That's how bad it was. They just threw her right in. They were like, oh, man, this election's way harder than we thought we anticipated. This was supposed to be an easy election. This election was supposed to be so easy that all we had to do was prop her up out there. And they did not anticipate the American people showing out for President Trump. And that's what took place. And that's the result. I'm so glad that we dodged that bullet, dodged the bullet of Hillary Clinton being president of the United States. You understand how terrible that would have been? That would have been the worst thing I think we would have ever had to take care of. I mentioned this the last live stream we were on together, talking about Barack Obama's chef. You guys remember that? Barack Obama's chef and how he ended up drowning. And there were reports that Barack Obama was not there. Well, apparently he was. Let's take a listen.
Fox News Alert, we have new information tonight in the drowning death of Obama's personal chef, Tafari Campbell. The Massachusetts State Police responded to our FOIA request and released their report with some redactions. According to the report, Obama was on the scene shortly after Campbell went missing. Report also states an unmanned female staffer jumped into the water when Tafari fell off his board, but it was already too late. He disappeared. We also now know that Secret Service has surveillance footage of Campbell from Obama's compound moments before he entered the water. So we're going to see if we can get that, and we may have that for you. Again, we're very, very sorry for Tafari's family. That was a serious, serious tragedy. Fox News Alert, we have new information tonight in the drowning death of Obama.
What do you think the chef saw that he had to be taken out by Obama? What do you think the chef was not supposed to see that caused Obama to have this guy taken out? What do you think it was? It had to have been finding out the truth, maybe between Michelle and Obama, or Barack. I mean, that he had to have seen the truth, or maybe he saw Obama's boyfriend over. Maybe that was it. And he wasn't supposed to see that. He wasn't supposed to see his boyfriend coming over. Lots of stuff. And of course, this mystery was swept under the rug pretty quickly by those responding police officers in the FBI and the Secret Service. They made that story go away until recently, when Jesse Waters and Fox News used FOIA in order to unredact and unseal some of those files to actually see what took place on Obama's compound with the missing chef who went into the ocean and never came back. And wasn't it interesting that there was another male out there with him when that took place? And then there was footage that they couldn't find anymore. Kind of like the Epstein thing. Oh, there's footage. Oh, no, there's no footage. There's no footage. Oh, there's footage now. Yeah. Something doesn't smell right about this one either. So another one that we need to continue to keep an eye on, as I'm sure that's going to continue to play. And, we talked about a few other things in regards of Hillary Clinton and Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Tulsi Gabbard. And here's a big one. This was mentioned during that interview with Aaron Burnett just now. And it was about the Trump strike force that he put together. Let's take a look at this. This was the press release here. This is from Benny Johnson. It says, breaking, the Trump DOJ has launched a strike force to investigate DNI Tulsi Gabbard's bombshell evidence exposing Obama's role in the Russian Gate hoax. This department takes alleged weaponization of the intelligence community with the utmost seriousness. AG Pam Bondi will investigate these troubling disclosures fully and leave no stone unturned to deliver. And that was announced today. Today, the Department of Justice announced the formation of the strike force with the evidence published by Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and investigate potential next legal steps, which might stem from DNI Gabbard's disclosures. So the department takes alleged weaponization intelligence community with the utmost seriously. The Department of Justice is proud to work with my friend, Director Gabbard, and we are grateful for her partnership in delivering accountability for the American people. We will investigate these troubling disclosures fully and leave no stone unturned and deliver justice. So I hope so. Hope these things do not go to Pam Bondi's Bermuda Triangle desk and are never to be seen again. Hopefully that does not happen. But we're going to keep a close eye on this story as well, because with the task force means there are going to be more eyes on all of this documentation that's been produced by Tulsi Gabbard. That is now going to be in multiple different hands. And who knows, do we have everyone that's in the Department of Justice? Are they loyal to President Trump's vision to bring justice back to America? or are they going to be getting into the hands of those who will be willing to leak the information to the fake news media? And that's an issue as well. So we're going to see how Pam Bondi handles this, because we know there are still individuals within the Department of Justice who is working against this administration to deliver justice for the American people. So it's going to be up to Pam Bondi to understand the utmost importance of this and put only her most well-trusted individuals in charge of this to ensure it does not get leaked to the press and potentially, ruin the case. And that could possibly happen. And I fear that could happen. And so we're going to see how Pam Bondi handles this case, and if she's able to actually take this case and make something of it. Arrest Obama, arrest Clinton, arrest all the rest of them, because it's gone on long enough. This country is yearning for justice. It's yearning for accountability. And I know I sound like a broken record with the whole accountability thing, but it cannot be further from the truth. I know that's how I feel. I know I cannot be the only person that feels that way when it comes to wanting to see justice for criminals who have worked in this government, who has worked against the country, and who's worked against the American people. Why would we not want to see justice and accountability? And I'm not tired of talking about it. And I will never get tired of talking about it, because I think it's that important. We're not a republic if we cannot bring these individuals to justice. We are not a republic. We are a banana republic at that point, where we're not doing anything to any of the people in power. And the only party that can do anything is the Democrat Party. They're the only ones that are allowed to arrest individuals, and they call that democracy. Please get out of here. Pam Bondi, you need to step it up and start arresting individuals. That's what the country deserves. We deserve that. Larry Elder, I don't know if you guys know Larry Elder. He's the radio host out in California. He ran for governor out there as well. He didn't do very well, but California is pretty corrupt anyway, with so many illegals able to vote in those elections. So I'm sure it may have been closer had not had so many illegals voting. But he had stated that if Obama is arrested, that he fears there would be a race riot war that would explode in the country. That if Obama is arrested, that people will go to the streets and burn cities down. I wish he would just say black people would do that. Black people in the Antifa gang from Seattle, Washington, the white kids that were going to be part of it. That's what's going to happen, right? And no doubt, right? Why would that not happen? So let's play this scenario out real quick in our heads. Let's kind of lay this out. Let's just say the task force is successful in finding the evidence and procuring indictments to pursue arresting Barack Hussein Obama. Let's just go down that road real quick. So they're able to do it. Say they're able to do it right before next summer. So we have to go all these months, and they're getting all the things put together, and they get everything put together, and they go raid Obama's house. They arrest him. They book him, and now he's arrested and he's on trial. Let's say it's May. Can you see another instance where it would be a George Floyd type of riots going across the country all summer, seeking to impact the elections in November, the midterm elections? Could you see that? Could you see it? I could see that. I could see them using that as a wedge, and then us having weak-spined Republicans coming out and saying, "Oh, we should not be doing this. We shouldn't be going after presidents and people of government. We shouldn't be doing that. We're setting a precedent that we can't go back from." Right? I know there's those Republicans. There's those Republicans that will say that. And as soon as the Democrats wield power once again, they'll go and arrest those same individuals who say, "Oh, we shouldn't be doing that." And they're like, "Oh, see, at least we had our, at least we stood on principle on this one," as they're next in the chopping block, right? And hopefully we don't. Hopefully we don't have any race riots. Hopefully we have our Republicans will stand strong and stand tall behind this effort to root out corruption. But again, I highly doubt that, only for the simple fact that we have so many Republicans who are involved in corruption, who don't want to see corruption end, who don't want to see accountability end, or accountability begin, I should say. And that right there would be red flags, right? Would be red flags for everyone to see. Hey, why are these Republicans against justice for government officials breaking the law? Why are they so against this? Maybe because they're in on it as well, right? Maybe because they're in on it as well, and that is what would take place. And so, yeah, Tulsi Gabbard and everything that's taking place right now with these guys is quite interesting in regards of let's see here. I had another story here. There was an interaction with Tulsi Gabbard and the media just a little bit ago. I gotta come down here. Sorry, I gotta find this one. This was actually really good. Tulsi Gabbard going head to head with the media. So let's see. I think this is it here. Okay. Let me pull it up. So this is Gabbard being questioned by CNN. Let's take a listen.
Based on what you now see, do you believe President Obama is guilty of treason?
I'm leaving the criminal charges to the Department of Justice. I'm not an attorney, but as I've said previously, when you look at the intent behind creating a fake manufactured intelligence document that directly contradicts multiple assessments that were created by the intelligence community, the expressed intent and what followed afterward can only be described as a years-long coup and a treasonous conspiracy against the American people, our republic, and an attempt to undermine President Trump's administration.
The Senate Intelligence Committee spent several years looking into this and unanimously agreed in a bipartisan fashion, Secretary of State Rubio was a member of that committee, that there was no political interference. There was a years-long Justice Department investigation into this as well that also concluded no political interference. So help us from a 50,000-foot level explain, what do you now have that refutes those two?
Sure, I will encourage you, in my role as the Director of National Intelligence, my job, again, as I said when I came into this role, was to make sure that we are telling the truth to the American people and that we are ensuring that the intelligence community is not being politicized. So I'm not asking you to take my word for it. I'm asking you and the media to conduct honest journalism. And
honest journalism, yeah, that is highly unlikely from CNN. They don't like to do honest journalism there at CNN. They will do their best to not do honest journalism. Let's see here. Let's see. This was a good one right here. This was Caroline Leavitt hashing it out with one of the individuals there in the thing here. Here she is in action. Let's take a listen.
Preparing for a Hillary Clinton victory, but at the unusual direction of Barack Obama at the time, the intel community published implausible intelligence suggesting otherwise. Why? To sabotage the incoming president. This is truly one of the greatest political scandals in American history. And reporters at legacy outlets, some of which are sitting in this room today, like the New York Times and the Washington Post, were ridiculously awarded Pulitzer Prizes for their perpetuation of this hoax. It's well past time for those awards to be stripped from the journalists who receive them. It is not journalism to propagate political disinformation in service of the Democrat Party and those in the intelligence community who hand over out of context and fake intelligence to push a false political narrative. Preparing.
She's really good at this. She's really good at being the press secretary, I must say. She does amazing. And she does a great job here. Again, just calling out the mainstream media for who they are. They're liars. They do everything in their power in order to twist the truth. in order to just manufacture a story that sounds good on their behalf. They do all of these things, and all of these things are terrible. Now, there was a story I saw earlier today, and okay, real quick, we're going to look at this story real quick, just because this one hits to home. This one hits home a little close to me, and I think you guys will enjoy this segment here. Okay, so just a little background on myself. I work in grocery retail. I have for over 20 years, and now I just do it part-time. I do it because I actually like doing it. I don't mind doing it. I enjoy going in and being able to teach the new employees, help train new employees, and things like that. I'm in a unique role where I work, and because of that, you know, whenever I see these stories of city-ran grocery stores, it's absolutely I just want to like yell at these people. Like, do you guys even know how to manage a business? Because you guys are absolutely failing at running a basic grocery store. I could probably run a grocery store with no problem. These guys run it into the ground when it's socialism at its best. Look at this real quick. This is over in Kansas City, by the way. I don't know if I have any Kansas City residents in here. Hey, Jeannie West, great to see you. Great to see you. Thank you for coming in. I haven't seen Jeannie in a while. Great to see you. Thank you for joining me tonight. So Eric Daughtry says, the government in Kansas City tried to subsidize a grocery store. It failed miserably. A rotten smell, shelves empty, can't buy anything, no food. And this is what the potential mayor of New York City wants to do to New York City. He wants city-ran grocery stores. This is what you have with a city-run grocery store, government-ran grocery store. Let's take a listen to this report.
It's clear this Sunfresh at 31st and Prospect is struggling. This is the first section people see when they come in. There's barely any produce. A lot of the coolers and shelves around the store look the same way, empty. So shoppers have been asking us, if the store isn't closing, then where's all the food? A rotten smell comes through the door, and anywhere you turn, you'll see products that need to be restocked. No hot food or deli.
I watch people walk in and walk out.
The grocery store has received financial assistance from the city, but has been unable to keep those shelves stocked in an area that in the past has often been referred to as a food desert.
Around here, a good thing don't last too long.
And it will impact a lot of people and a lot of families.
The city owns the Linwood Shopping Center. A nonprofit operates the grocery store. It's clear this Sunfresh at 31st and Prospect is struggling. This is the first section people see when they come in. There's barely any produce. A lot of the coolers and shelves around the store look the same way, empty. So shoppers have been asking us, if the store isn't closing, then where's all the food? A rotten smell.
Where's all the food? That is exactly the question. Where's all the food in this grocery store? It's gone. It is gone because the money that they're using to subsidize this grocery store is being mishandled. It's being funneled. It's being siphoned off. This is what happens whenever you get government involved with running any type of private business, especially a grocery store. There are so many factors to running a grocery store: supply chain, having enough workers to put out groceries, put out the stock, having truck drivers to be able to deliver the food, to deliver the groceries, unloading the groceries, preparing the groceries, preparing the fresh vegetables or the deli items or the bakery items and things like that. It's a well-oiled machine. And when you get government involved with it, of course, government is not well-oiled. They are bloated, right? They do everything at a pace that's almost in reverse. That doesn't help anybody. And then you put them in charge and helping subsidize a grocery store. No wonder the shelves are empty. No wonder the shelves are empty. I've seen better, poorly ran grocery stores than this one. And this one's being funded by the taxpayer. This is what is coming to New York City. So if you live in New York City, you're voting for this upcoming mayor in New York City, this open communist in New York City. And I know we throw that that term around a lot sometimes, but this is what he's advocating for. He's advocating for New York City to have city ran grocery stores. This is the future. This is your future. This is what type of grocery store you would be shopping at. Not much to shop from. A rotten smell coming in right as you come into the front door. That's disgusting, my friends. Not having, and where's that rotten smell coming from? There's no groceries in there. Obviously, they're not cleaning. They're not cleaning. They're not doing any of the things that would require upkeep and maintenance and cleanliness, or of any of those things. If I walked into a grocery store and it has a funny smell, I'm turning right back around. I would be embarrassed to work at a store like that. I probably wouldn't work there. I'd be like, yeah, I'm out. I'm bouncing. I'm bouncing. And that right there, man, that's no, sir. No, I would never work at a store. I would never shop at a store like this. We never shop at a city ran store. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So New York City folks, if you guys are watching, I'm sorry to tell you, but that's your future with that upcoming mayor race that you have. If you vote, what's his name? Mandini or whatever. Yeah. I love grocery stores too. I love grocery stores. I go on vacation. We'll go on vacation from time to time. We'll go to different areas and I love to visit the grocery stores in those areas. I like to go in there. I like to look around. I like to see what they're doing. You know, is there any innovations that they're doing that I could take back to where I work and maybe help integrate something that looks like that it would actually work pretty well and stuff like that. I just love grocery stores. Love them. Love them. It doesn't matter what state I'm in. Doesn't matter what state I visit or whatever. I have to go to the grocery store that is the most prominent grocery store in the area that we're visiting. I have to go see it. I want to go see it. I want to go shop there. I want to go look around. I want to proc. I want to see if I can peek in their back area, see how they're running their back hall area and all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah, I know. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd when it comes to grocery stores. Am I stealing food? No, I'm not stealing food. No steal food. Stock food. I stock groceries. I stock groceries on the side. I'm a part-time grocery clerk. Oh my goodness. I do. I like grocery stores. I do. It's one of my passions. It's one of the things I love to do. And I've done it for a long time. So when I see stories like this with the whole thing about, grocery stores being ran by the government, I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. Also had this other story here. There was a story. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. I was looking for it today and I can't find it anymore, but there's apparently a scandal. You guys aren't going to believe this. There's actually a scandal in the medical industry right now. I'm trying to look for the story that I had for it with the whole thing about organ harvesting, that they've been organ harvesting at hospitals with people who were going to live. They were harvesting organs. RFK looked into it, and let's see, RFK organ harvesting. Yeah, let's see here. Just saw it. There we go. Okay. So this story was came out of nowhere. And I've always been a little weary about organ donation, about being an organ donor. Well, apparently, Secretary Kennedy put this out. He said, our findings show that hospitals allow the organ procurement process to begin with patients showing signs of life. And this is horrifying. The organ harvesting organizations that coordinate access to transplants will be held accountable. The entire system must be fixed to ensure that every potential donor's life is treated with the sanctity it deserves. So, yeah, that is straight up terrible. That's straight up murder. If you're still showing signs of life, some hospitals apparently with the organ harvesting people are foregoing treatment for people that could be saved, and they're using them as organ donors, and they're taking their organs. That's horrifying. That is horrifying. I told my wife today, I was just telling her, she works in the medical field. I told her about this today, and she's like, what? I was like, yeah. I said, so I showed her the story, and she's like, and she started thinking, she's like, man. I was like, yeah. She's like, well, there's certain procedures that they have to do. I said, well, I don't know. I said, I don't know if these hospitals that are involved in it were doing those procedures. Obviously, I don't think they were. And most family members probably don't know the procedures that need to be done to say, your loved one was an organ donor and they came in brain dead and they were already, they were basically dead when they came in. So we harvest their organs. And I'm sure that most family members probably don't know the right questions to ask. And some of these hospitals are getting away with it. That right there is that is horrifying. That is dangerous. People need to go to prison for this too. So again, so much stuff out there that's going on. It's hard to kind of keep track of all of it. I just saw this story yesterday. I saw it yesterday. I meant to talk about it. I just forgot about it. There's so much other stuff going on, but you're more likely to be impacted by a rogue organ donor or organ operation. What is this, Squid Game? Have you guys watched Squid Game? Have any of y'all watched Squid Game? Where they do the organ harvesting operation? I don't know if you guys have watched it or not. Anyway, feel like we're in Squid Game. We're in Squid Game. I go to the hospital in there for a flu, and they take my kidneys. I'm like, whoa! I just came in to get some antibiotics, and I'm missing my kidneys, guys. What's going on? And they're like, oh yeah, we saw that you were an organ donor. Oh, we didn't think you would mind. We thought you were on the verge of death. Yeah. So that is horrifying. That's what they do in third world nations. That's what they do in South Asian thing. Yeah. Anita over here says China is doing that using the prisoners for organ harvesting. Yeah. I remember reading that story. That was about 5-6 years ago. That story broke about that, Anita, I believe, where they're using the prisoners they have in the rural parts of their country, and it's mostly Muslim prisoners that they have. They're using them to organ harvest in China. I think that's what the story was, if I remember correctly, without having to look it up. But that's terrible, man. That is terrible. That is some dystopian type of stuff right there. And I don't like that. I don't like that. The medical industry itself already has a black eye from COVID, right? For what they did in COVID, they already have a black eye. They already have people that distrust hospitals, distrust doctors, and people like that. It's already happened. And now more stories like this coming out where hospitals are actively working with organ harvesting companies or whomever procures the organs are now in cahoots with these people doing stuff like this. It's really terrible. It's terrible that we've been subjected to this type of things that we should have never been subjected to. And I hope that there is accountability. Again, that's the theme, right? That's been the theme over the last, few weeks. It's been accountability for these individuals who continue to destroy the country, but not only destroy the country, right? Actively seek to injure or take out citizens of this country. And then we're replaced by third world nation individuals coming here and replacing the people in this nation. It's It's terrible. It's terrible. I don't want to live in a country like that. And so that is why, again, I've said and I've stressed that this is the time. This is Trump's time. It's time to seize the moment. It's time to seize the moment and actually arrest these individuals who have worked against this country for many, many years already. So anyway, that's all we have for tonight. We'll be in another Freedom Stream tomorrow at 10 p.m. I hope to see you guys tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern time, as we continue our Freedom Stream series. So I look forward to seeing you guys back here. Hopefully we'll have more information, more developments with the whole Obama task force that they're putting together. And hopefully we'll see more of Tulsi Gabbard dropping more information. So we'll see how all that plays out as well. So you guys let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thanks once again. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you are able to help by becoming a member, I like to hit that 50 member goal by the end of August. So if you guys are able to do that, fantastic. If not, hit that like button, hit that share button, or hit that subscribe button. All of it helps as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope you guys all have a wonderful evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow evening. Hope you guys have a great and wonderful night. Bye, everyone. God bless.